look out. Here come former SportsCenter anchor Bob Stevens, esteemed basketball coach Rich Basirico, and Hall of Fame sports writer Curry Kirkpatrick. And someone's going under the bus.
Got a lot of people to throw under the bus. We got a huge show ahead. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us. We need to start. I think we need to start, because we'll forget about it if we don't start with it. The WNBA finals, which has now begot a union, the union not wanting to reopening the contract and doing all that. But anyway, fabulous finals. Ends in an overtime of the final game. Coach Basirico, I want to ask you first.
Yes, sir.
Your two star players go 5 for 34. How you win it?
I have no idea. How did they pull that off? I mean, Sabrina was 1 for 19.
Yeah.
Your second best player overall is 1 for 19, and they win? Crazy.
Do you sit her down? Do you sit her if she's 1 for 18?
No, I don't think you sit her, but I think you do say to her during a timeout, like, let's look for better shots. It's just not falling for you tonight. But she had no fear. When you looked at her facial expression, she had no fear. It didn't bother her that she missed. And most kids would, you could see it in their face. She was going to take those shots. I mean, she hit the three in the fourth quarter, which was a crucial three-pointer, but then she came back to it 3 or 4 more times afterwards. She had no fear in her veins. I mean, she's an important part of the team. Obviously, handles the ball, plays good defense. But if you said to me, this girl's gonna go 1 for 19 before the game started, would they win? I said, heck no, there's no way they're gonna win.
One for 19 is John Stark's territory, right? From a long time ago. The Knicks final. And he was like 1 for 15 or something, right?
And what happened? They lost. They lost.
I got problems with the WNBA as usual to the very end of the season. I mean, this is just amateur. This was still amateur hour. And it starts in the very top. I want to tell you, the WNBA commissioner, a woman named Kathy Engelbert, no relation to Engelbert Humperdinck. Although,
that's the one we know.
Although she pulled a real Humpty Dumpty move, she shows up. This is a game 5 between Minnesota and New York, right, in Brooklyn. She shows up with a dress with the New York skyline on her dress. What? I mean, come on. What? At the end, that's so amateur hour. Then they go down to the last shot. You haven't even talked about the last play when Breanna Stewart gets the ball and takes about 4 steps. They're down 2. She takes about 4 steps. Should have been traveling. No call. She goes to the line, she shoots the ball, and they call a foul. Total phantom to me. I mean, I saw this 4 or 5 times over. There's no possible way that's a foul.
That's right.
And yet but she gets to shoot the 2 free throws, makes them. They go to overtime. The Lynx play terrible. Liberty win the game. Speaking of fouls, the Lynx star, I think her name's Collier, Nafisha Collier, she took 23 shots. Yeah. No fouls. She shot no foul shots. Come on. I mean, this is.
No, I agree with you. There was no foul. They've replayed that, like you said, 400 or 500 times. There's no foul there. I mean, she didn't hit with her body. You can sit there, maybe with her body. No, she didn't hit with her body. She had a hand on the ball. She didn't foul her.
Went straight up. The defender went straight up. No hands.
Correct.
Rich, what did you think about your coach? What did you think about the Lynx coach after the game? Cheryl Reed went off, of course.
She did.
Said it was used some profanity. Said it was stolen. I mean, this is a bad look at the end of the season for the WNBA, who had this great season, and it comes down to this. Of course, they've had a problem all year with officiating, right? I mean, the officiating WNBA is just a source of
inconsistent.
Real, and it went right down to the last play of the whole season. But I thought it was a bad look all around. Especially especially the dress. What if Rob Manfred shows up Friday night in Los Angeles in a pink blazer with the Hollywood sign on insignia? I mean, come on.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Rob Manfred in a dress. I thought,
So it'd have to be. I don't know.
you know what? I think it ended just like the WNBA wanted to. They want to be the NBA, and they finished with a bad call, a travel that was never called, which never happens in the NBA, and little controversy.
Well,
to
the
keep
coach,
everybody
I mean, the
happy in
coach,
offseason.
I know how she felt, but she shouldn't be running her mouth like that after the thing, was
No.
stolen from her. I'm sure she thinks it. You don't need to be saying that. I mean, it's not coming back. They're not going to turn the call over and say, hey, guess what? That wasn't a foul. She doesn't get 2 foul shots. You win. I mean, it's not coming back. So let it be
Coach,
and move on.
did you ever, after a game, complain to the press that the game had been stolen?
Ask Justin. I don't think I ever complained to the
Many
press.
times. Many times. I
I
remember
might
many
have been
times.
angry, but I don't think I complained. I don't know. Maybe somebody can tell me I did.
I think it was all off the record, Rich. You were always off the record.
Off the record. There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I got screwed. That's off the record.
All right. Well, speaking of Rob Manfred in a dress, the World Series begins on Friday. It's what baseball wanted: Dodgers, Yankees, Ohtani and Judge, Mookie and Soto. I mean, it is star power to the max. It'll be interesting, won't it?
It will. And Bob, for your Guardians, I mean, that was a great series, even though it was, 4-1. Every game was a very good game. And it was exciting to watch. I mean, I know I'm saying it because I'm a Yankee fan, but it was exciting to watch. They were really good games. And I mean, how many home runs were hit with 2 outs? 2 outs to the bottom of the 9th, 2 outs to the bottom of the 10th, 2 outs to the
by
top
both
of the 8th.
teams, yeah.
Both teams, yeah. It was exciting. I think it's going to come down to the bullpen because both these managers don't let their starters stay in more than 5 or 6 innings. And I think it's going to come down to both bullpens are rested, waiting a whole week before they play another, the first game of the series. But that's what I think it comes down to. Does Judge get hot? Time will tell.
I got to go back. I got to go back to a little bit of the Cleveland New York series because the game 3 finish was epic. I mean, totally epic. With Cleveland looked in command and Judge and Stanton come up and in 4 pitches. Bob, your boy, Class A, 4 pitches. He goes from Class A to Class D, and then Big Christmas comes up and hits the most astonishing. The other guy won the game Friday, but the biggest home run was Christmas. I thought.
Oh yeah,
tied the game, and at that point, you knew Cleveland was going to win. I mean, that was one of the epic home runs I've ever seen. I'm just sitting around. I haven't got a dog in the fight, but it was, the name. And then here's under the bus. The network TNT should have gone under the bus for not playing the Spanish call for like the next 10 minutes.
It was one of the great calls of all time. Yeah, the Spanish call.
Feliz Navidad. I mean, I could have listened to that, and I have about 10 times, but they should have just played that for the rest of the night. It was great.
I have heard it a few times, and it was indeed classic. The curious thing is the color guy on the Cleveland Hispanic broadcast is Carlos Baerga, who played, obviously for the Indians back in the day, and was a beloved figure there, and then went and played for the Mets. But Carlos, he's trying to hold down the guy who was making the call.
It was historic. It was historical. Let me ask you about this, Rich. You guys, now we go to game 5, okay? And the game's in the balance. It's the 10th inning again. Yankees got 2 guys on. Soto's up, okay?
Yeah.
Got a base open. And Frank Hoare said this on the air. He speculated, might they walk Soto and make Judge beat him? Because Soto is a dangerous cover. I mean, he's going to put the bat on the ball every time.
Right.
No matter, and he put that one out. But I don't know. Do you walk Soto there maybe and pitch to Judge, Rich? Put him on?
No.
Why not?
Because Judge, I know Judge hasn't swinging the bat great, but he's still capable, obviously.
Of course.
Hit it out. Plus, you're putting the it's 3-2 at that time, right, Bob? It was 3-2. if you walk them, now you're putting the tying run and the winning run in
Bases
scoring.
loaded. You're
Right.
loading the bases. You're
Right,
loading
so
the
now you get a
bases.
guy in second base gets a hit that brings in 2 runs. If he gets
Well,
first,
the point is, you want to pitch to Judge or pitch to Soto.
I
I'm
don't want
telling
to
you,
pitch
I'd
either
rather
one.
pitch-
Either one. I don't want to pitch
Well,
I'd
either
have
one.
rather pitched to Judge.
I would too.
Because you know where there's a hole. Judge has a hole.
Sure.
And it has
There's
been
a lot of
found by a
holes.
lot of pitchers.
Well,
Soto doesn't have many holes.
yeah,
Judge
but
has
so
a
if it
lot of
was
holes.
maybe just runner on first or no runners on, maybe you'd make that decision. But since it was first and second, I don't see how you do that. I really
Well,
don't.
there's
Now it's
2 outs.
bases loaded, an infield hit, a pass ball. There's so many more ways to score from third base in comparison first and second. He could tag up from third base. I don't think he put those people in those positions. I just don't. I mean, maybe with nobody on, like I said, you walk them, but you walk to get
Well,
to
here's my thing.
Judge?
Here's my thing. Judge a lot looks silly. He takes such silly swings sometimes. He can be struck out so easily. Soto never does that. It's like Frank Krueger said. He said every at bat for Soto, when he's staring at the pitcher,
Right.
like he wants to bring it on, bring it. He does it every at bat.
I know.
It's like Frank Krueger said.
Chicks.
Every at bat is masterpiece theater with Soto. It's just I love to watch him hit.
The only comeback I had to my Yankee fan friends who were texting me during all of this is I said, well, yeah, but at least Jose Ramirez I know where he'll be next year. Juan Soto, I don't think.
Well,
look
you keep
how many
saying that.
100 million has he made in the last 2 weeks?
He's made a
You
lot.
keep
He's made
saying
a
it,
lot
but-
of money in the last 2 weeks.
But you go back to the men on base. The Yankees got the men on base because the guy blew the double play ball. I mean, a little league double play ball is just an error, which is like there was an inevitability to the Yankees and Dodgers. I think this whole, they were 2 richest teams. Everybody picked them beginning of the season, and you come down to this close game, and the Indians, the Guardians, I keep forgetting. Made that silly double play ball error because Gaddis wouldn't have had to pitch to Soto if they make the play, and that's what they were counting on.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's the key, obviously.
I got a quick question.
I got a key to the World Series. Might be your guy, Curry, Tommy Edman,
How about that?
Volpe, the 2 shortstops. Volpe was terrific during the ALCS, and Edman was terrific.
I think Volpe's a really good player, don't you think, Rich? He's a really terrific player. And Edman, it broke my heart when he left the Cardinals. I didn't realize he only started playing in August. He had elbow surgery when the Dodgers got him. The Cardinals just let him go because he was injured. And he's only been playing since August, but he's always been a terrific, versatile, really, really good player. I got to go back. Rich, your relievers. You have a guy, what's the guy's name? Tommy Canley?
Yes.
Reliever?
Yeah. He always walks players.
Well, they said he threw 26 straight changeups on Thursday night and 18 straight changeups on Friday night. If that's all you got, a changeup, how are you any good? I mean, don't the batters just? I mean, here comes a change. Aren't they waiting for? I mean, come on.
That's the point. Yeah, why aren't the hitters waiting for it? Why
aren't
they
they
wait back and wait for it?
How is he still in the major leagues?
The Guardians under the bus for that because I mean, the guy's throwing
lollipops.
You and I could hit those pitches.
I know.
But I tell you what, one thing at point watching the Yankee series and the Mets series, I'm kind of appalled about this bad pitches these batters swing at. You mentioned Judge, there's Stanton. We could name a half a dozen guys swinging the balls 3 feet outside in the dirt. Like, these are major league hitters.
Some of those pitches hit the ground.
I know, and they're outside. Not only hitting the ground, they're 2 feet outside. Come on.
Although I give the Yankees have walked more than any other team, and I think that's going to be a key in the World Series too. Is they do it less than any other team. Go fishing,
but how about if they keep making these stupid base running mistakes? So that's going to catch up to them in the World Series. Also,
they are. awful.
I
at
got to,
that.
there's so many stats that came out about this. I got to ask you about one though. The Yankees lead the Dodgers in titles 27-7, in pennants 42-25. They've won 8 of the 11 World Series that they've played against each other. But this stat amazes me. In Hall of Fame players, the Yankees have 47. The Dodgers have 53. Would you
Wow.
believe that? I would
No.
not have believed that one. Yeah, it's
The
strange.
Dodgers traded away most of theirs, though.
Oh, another great rivalry going on in this series. USC UCLA rivalry. You know what that is?
What?
Southern Cal against UCLA.
Right.
Aaron Boone
Oh.
against David Roberts. USC against UCLA.
Oh, how
How
about
cool is
that?
that?
I know
How
that.
cool is it? Yeah, that's cool.
That's
That's
interesting.
good stuff.
Yeah, it is
All
good
right.
stuff.
Well, we will not talk about USC or UCLA, but we will talk a whole lot of college football. And we're going to talk the NFL, of course, too. Football segment coming up next as we take you under the bus, sponsored by Hudson's Seafood House on Hilton Head Island, hudsonsonthedocks.com. Stay with us. Welcome back to Under the Bus. Bob Stevens along with Curry Kirkpatrick and Rich Basirico. Only undefeated team in the NFL is the Chiefs, and I think I can find 5 teams who can beat them, but nobody seems to be able to get it done. The Chiefs go out to San Francisco in the Super Bowl rematch, and they get all their receivers hurt. They got nobody healthy anywhere, and Patrick Mahomes finds a way. How about that one play where he deked them all out and not only got the first down, but got about 30 more yards? How
Yeah.
good
It
is
was a
he?
fake hand. Yeah. How about when he bulldozed the guy in the end zone? When he goes in the end zone and scores that touchdown and smashes the guy down, and he said afterward, "Well, I got that dad body. It helps me. I put on a lot of weight on the stomach, and I can smash guys like that."
I was surprised at the outcome of that game. I agree with you, Bob. I think there's 4 or 5 teams that could beat Kansas City. I thought going into San Francisco, they would have their number, but
Well, the 49ers are devastated by injuries, though. Come on, they're
yeah,
even
they
more.
are, but
I mean,
Kansas City is too.
well,
Kansas City is too. So, the 49ers, I don't know if they're going to get back to the Super Bowl. And I don't even know. I don't think Kansas
no,
City will get to the Super Bowl. I think somebody will beat them down the road. They're going to
you do really.
I do.
I'll take that.
Baltimore's really good, and the
Coming
Lions
on.
are really
Coming on.
good. And the
Right. Those 2 teams for sure.
could certainly challenge them before it's over. Yeah.
I mean,
How
I think
about
some of those
Jared- how about
injuries
Jared-
happening. I mean, they have another wide receiver. Juju is hurt now for Kansas City. I mean, they're getting down to the nitty. I mean, their wide receiver group is not real strong, even though they get the job done every week.
Apparently, they're talking to the Rams about Cooper Kupp.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
Ooh.
That would be a great
Imagine
addition.
Cooper Kupp working with Mahomes. Ooh.
That would be a great addition.
Isn't Cooper Kupp still injured though?
He's coming back this week.
Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
he's coming back this week. Yeah.
How
The
about
other, of course,
trades?
big NFL story, and I'll bring it up before Curry piles onto me with it real quick, is, of course, the fabulous Deshaun Watson, who tore an Achilles and is done. The stats on him are pretty. Sexual assault charges filed against him. He only played 19 games and only was a part of 9 victories. So they have paid him roughly $25 million per win, which is a little pricey.
The massage era comes to a fitting end when he goes down. I mean, the classy Browns fans cheering an injury to the classy quarterback. They deserve each other. I mean, come on, Browns and Deshaun, that's over, but they deserve each other to me.
That's
cheer.
the most
They'd have forgiven
disappointing
him if he'd have won.
Yeah. Well, don't you think the Browns is the most disappointing team in the NFL this year?
Oh, who cares about nobody cares about the Browns. Come on, except
Bob is a Cleveland guy. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, I forgot.
No, they absolutely, they are the most disappointing team. They've just been horrific. And now they're not even probably they're arguing over whether to play Jameis Winston, who's okay, at least he's interesting, or Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who leads the league in vowels in a last name, on the back of your jersey, but not much else. They get Nick Chubb back. He gets a touchdown and still doesn't enough. So
Nick Chubb apparently is one of the nicest guys in the league. Everybody in the league loves him. Yeah. Can you imagine him having to play with Deshaun Watson? I think we should go back under the bus. We should go back under the bus. I want to go right back to the Big Apple, because we got a couple teams there again. I mean, Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets, who's a weekly customer under the bus. We figured that he didn't have anybody to blame. Now he figured out somebody to blame. Did you see this? The first question he was asked after they lose again, they get pounded by the Steelers, and they asked him what something about how do you get the team to believe anymore? And Aaron Rodgers says, "Stop listening to you guys," meaning the press. That's the first thing he said. And then he said, of course, I got to play better. Yeah. Well, the first thing, he blamed the media first and then himself. I love it.
Curry, you have never been blamed for any team's bad fortune, have you?
I probably have. Something I wrote, I probably have.
Bobby Knight and by any 10 or 12 different people. Come on.
Mike Krzyzewski.
In the college game, wow.
Well, wait a minute. Let's not leave the NFL. Let's not leave the NFL. And let's not leave New York. Okay. How about, Rich, is this about the bottom or what? I mean, that was humiliating.
It is the bottom. And Daniel Jones, who I really had hope for with a good offensive line, I no longer have hope for him. The sad thing is, even if they are the worst team in football, which I don't think they will be, but they'll be near the bottom. I don't see any good quarterbacks coming out of the college draft. I know we'll talk about it at a later time, but I don't see anybody coming out that just blows me away.
How about the guy at Miami, Cam Ward? He's pretty good. Looks like a pro.
Yeah, maybe him. But the guys that talked about from Texas and
Georgia, how about Shedeur Sanders? Shedeur Sanders, they say, is the best prospect. Deion's son. But
that's who the Giants
Rich, I'm not going to let you escape. I'm not going to let you escape.
They need Deion and his kid. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
In New York.
Shedeur.
Perfect.
But Rich,
Deion as coach.
It's right. Get Dayball out of there, and they get the coach and the kid. Of course, Rich doesn't think. Rich doesn't. Colorado, by the way, just quietly is edging up. They're going to make a bowl. I mean, they could win the Big 12,
but
right?
Not quietly.
They're half a game. Well, quiet to me, the way they used to be. I just think the Giants are very lucky that the Yankees and Mets have still been playing the last couple of weeks, because they've escaped the tabloid disaster that they would be. It keeps going back. I keep remembering back to that Hard Knocks 2 summers ago when John Mara was on camera saying, "I'm not going to get any sleep if Saquon goes to Philadelphia."
Yeah, well, there you go.
Well, he's not going to get much sleep now. How about Saquon? Rich, I mean, you didn't even comment on it. He got 176, and I think I read where the coach asked him, "Do you want to go in and get some more? Get 200?" And he said, "No, I'm good. Yeah. He classed me."
What can I say? I don't have an answer. I have no comment. What can I say? I mean, the decision making these guys make.
Didn't they chose Dookie Jones over keeping Saquon, right?
Yeah,
they gave Dookie all the money, and then in the same game, Dookie has the gall to he got benched, right? They brought in somebody else, and he bitches about that. Dookie bitches about that. he was mad he got taken out. He's
And
1
you
and
didn't get
14. He's 1 and 14 in prime time now. 1 and 14.
You know they should bring
and it
in
wasn't even Tommy
Tommy
Cutlets
Cutlet.
that came in for him.
No, yeah.
They should bring in
I
Tommy
love-
Cutlet. Tommy Cutlet won a couple of games last year. That's who they should bring in. Don't you think?
How about under the bus to the Giants fan as the Philadelphia Eagles bus was coming in? Did you read this? There were Giant fans burning a whole bunch of Saquon's jerseys, burning it, and smoke is coming up. And they asked Saquon after the game, "Did you see it?" He said, "Yeah, I saw the smoke. I've never seen that." He said, "But I was ready for 3rd and 1." Right there.
And on the way back out, Saquon could light $20 bills and throw it back at the guys who were burning jerseys.
That's right.
And say, "Yeah,
He-
here you go."
Saquon now has more touchdowns in MetLife than Dookie has since he signed the contract. Oh yeah.
You did a lot of research on this against the
Oh yeah, I'm
Giants.
keeping receipts. I'm keeping receipts on these stupid Giants.
Keeping those receipts. All right. Are you done with the NFL?
I guess so.
Can we go to throwing Texas under the bus and maybe Alabama too?
Oh wait, one more NFL guy. This was great. This was the quote of the week. Now this is the quote of the week. My boy Stefan Diggs, who now plays for the Texans, they had the great game against Green Bay this week. But Diggs has been he's been an unruly customer in Minnesota and at Buffalo. He's never happy. Apparently, before the game, he goes up. He's always had words with the defensive back for the Packers who used to play, and he said he started a fight. Basically, he went over and started slapping guys, and he said, "I heard some chirping," and he said he said, "I heard somebody chirping." He said, "I don't care if I'm by myself or with a million other people. I ain't letting shit go." Excuse me. And then he said, "I'm never the bigger person. I'm never the bigger person." Stefan Diggs said, "I love it." Jesus.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Turned out to be a really good game too. Yeah, interesting stuff. All right, now we go to college football. Let's throw Texas and Alabama under the bus for losing games they kind of needed to win. Texas no longer number 1. Georgia's back to number 2. Oregon's the new number 1. Alabama loses at Tennessee. Kalen DeBoer feeling a little heat in Bama.
So the word on the street is they have no discipline there at Alabama. That's the difference.
Well, they certainly. I mean, they're when they get the ball, they're down late. They 4th and 7, and one of their guys gets an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty and turns it into 4th and 22 instead when they're behind. And,
that was Kendrick Law, and he dropped the pass. He got smacked on a play, and it was a big play because Alabama was driving, and you would never see this under Saban. Never.
Right.
The defensive back got right in his face, which should have been taunting. Even the announcer said should have been taunting.
Absolutely.
But the referees apparently didn't see it, and Law came back and pushed the guy in the face and got the penalty. And it took, it stopped the drive from Alabama. Basically, cost them the game. I mean, they might not have won the game anyway. But that stuff, like you say, Rich, never would have happened under Saban.
No,
not discipline like that. The old saying, Paul Feinbaum, the mouth of the South, the SEC commentator that's now on ESPN all the time. He went to Tennessee, but he's a big Alabama honk. He's a big Saban guy. He killed DeBoer this week. I mean, it's an ongoing thing. He's killed him every day. And it's like a long time ago when Lyndon Johnson, the Vietnam War, and Walter Cronkite came out against Lyndon Johnson, and Johnson said, "If I've lost concrete, I've lost America." If you've lost Paul Feinbaum, you've lost the Alabama fan base.
Trouble.
I mean,
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah.
And
That's
DeBoer,
true.
who's been more disappointing though, DeBoer or Michigan? The guy at Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, quietly
yeah.
they can't. I mean, they have trouble completing a pass. I mean, this was their week. They played Illinois. They had an off week. This was the week they were going to get, go back to basics, change the quarterback, get this guy Tuttle in, get him ready. They got beat 21-7. They had 7 points. It's the fewest they've scored in 10 years, Michigan. And Sharon Moore might not be the guy there either.
It might not be. Vandy is now ranked and Michigan is not.
That's crazy.
Stop and think about that for a minute.
Wow.
There you go. There you go.
And Indiana is ranked. Indiana is ranked ahead of Alabama in football, and Alabama is ranked ahead of Indiana in basketball.
Wow. When's the last time that happened?
Very nice. Very nice. Very good.
That's probably never happened before.
Yeah.
What are we coming to this week? Notre Dame and Navy.
Love it. Love that game.
Be big stuff, huh? They're playing in the Meadowlands.
I think there goes Navy's undefeated record.
You're probably right.
You think?
I would say. I want to go back. I want to go back to our weekly game of the century, which was Georgia Texas, which was really. I mean, did you see the sideline before this game? I mean, Texas had all their celebrity stars, McGonaghy and Glenn Powell were there, and everybody's taking selfies, and Sarkisian got in it. They even had the sleazebag in chief. What's that guy's name? Joe Rogan. He's taking. I mean, what is he doing there? He's taking selfies with Sarkisian, and it looked like schmoozing with the stars. And I think that's what Kirby Smart went after the game. He said, "We weren't here to party; we were here to eat." And he said, "Well, I took two things out of this game for future ramifications. First of all, Sarkisian, who's been treating this quarterback controversy with kid gloves all year, when his boy Ewers just got manhandled and poor Ewers didn't know where he was, he's down 20-0. He finally has to put in Arch Manning. And Manning comes in, he didn't, 2 series that weren't much better than Ewing, but you could see, I mean, he has a zip on the ball. He's much more mobile. He's a much better quarterback.
Well, they should have kept Manning in there because at least.
Well, that's what I mean. Now he's got a controversy. Now he's got a controversy. That's what I mean. He's so much more mobile, and the ball comes out. I mean, the ball comes out of his, like his grandfather, more than I mean, he really throws at bullets. And now he's got a quarterback controversy. I mean, I think if Texas, down the road, they probably won't lose again until the playoffs. But, if they get in trouble and, and Manning is so much. Did you hear the crowd when Manning came in?
Yeah.
The place went berserk. The place went berserk, and the team got all up, psyched up. And as I understand it, Manning's uniforms much better sales than Ewers in the shop. And so
that shouldn't be determining who's playing, right?
Yeah, well, he's opened up a can of worms or a can of horns, as I should say. Yeah. The other thing I took out of this, I don't know if you saw the ridiculous penalty, and the Texas student body goes nuts and throws bottles on the field for 10 minutes, and then the officials huddle up and change the call. Yeah. Now, come on, what are we doing here? I don't care if it was the worst call in the world. You cannot change the call after that. You just can't.
No.
I mean,
that's something Kirby Smart brought up after the game.
Exactly. And now the precedent's precedent's been set now. I mean,
and that's going to happen at Georgia the next time anything happens against the Bulldogs at Sanford Stadium. The crowd's going to start throwing stuff. And
well, that's what if they didn't throw those water bottles on, the game wouldn't have stopped for that period of time, and they might have not made that change.
Well, exactly, Rich. That's the point. They wouldn't have changed. They wouldn't have had time. But the SEC fined Texas $250,000.
Wow.
And they also said you've got to look for the fans, who are mostly students, in the stands who threw the bottles, and they're going to be denied access to the stadium the rest of the school year. If they can find them, that's ridiculous. But I thought, but then the SEC stupidly says that the referees made the right call in changing the call. That's just, it can't be done. Can't happen.
But first of all, how do they miss that call? That's the big thing. The officials standing right there on the side. How do they miss that call?
They miss calls all the time.
I know they do. I know they miss calls all the time, but they're standing right there. Come on, you got too many. They're missing too many calls. I know they miss calls. They're not perfect. I get it, but they miss too many crucial calls, which is obvious to us that's happening, and they can't get it right. And then
Sounds like if the Basirico family had been in the Texas student section there, they would have thrown some bottles. Is that right? Is that right? I don't know.
Yeah, Coach, have you ever cued the student section to, raise havoc
no,
so you
never.
get some calls?
I've never threw a chair. I threw my sport jacket, not on the official, just on the ground next to me. But I've never thrown
Oh.
anything. No.
That's a story we need to hear sometime.
I told you that story. We were playing in a game, and I don't know. I was upset about something. I threw my jacket down, and I stomped on it. And actually, my friend was the opposing coach, and he calls the official over and says, I got a technical foul. How come he doesn't get a technical foul for jumping on his jacket?" He goes, "Coach, that's his jacket. He can do whatever he wants with it." And that's what the official told
man.
him.
Oh, crazy stuff. Hey,
Yeah.
when we come back, we're going to talk about a coach who I don't think he ever stomped on his jacket, although I know he's taken them off a few times. But it really brings up something that I think we all have a thought on. Tony Bennett quitting at UVA and the highest paid high school basketball coach in America, and the preview of the NBA. It's all coming up when we come back. Under the Bus, brought to you by Hudson's on the Docks. Welcome back to the thrilling final segment of Under the Bus. Bob Stevens along with Curry Kirkpatrick and Hall of Fame coach Rich Basirico. Tony Bennett quits at UVA like 3 weeks before the season starts.
Right.
What's with that?
Well, well, first of all, he said it. I'm old school. He doesn't like the transfer portal. He says he thinks the players should get paid the money, but he doesn't really agree about how it's being done. But I think he waited this long because he wanted his assistant to get the job. If he would have retired back in the summer, they might have went out and got somebody from the outside to bring in, and he waited to this time, knowing that they couldn't go out to the outside and bring somebody else in. They have to somebody from within, and that's my reason behind it. Bobby Crimmins did the same thing at College of Charleston. He had told me that he was disappointed in himself that he stepped down like early September, hoping that his assistant would get the job, and he did not. They did go outside and get somebody, and he started beating himself up. I should have waited. And he didn't. Of course, his assistant now that he's talking about is now the head coach at Vanderbilt. So he found a good place to go after not getting the job at the College of Charleston. He ended up going to James Mason, and now of course he's at Vanderbilt. Yeah. So
George Mason.
George Mason.
George, I said George. I get the names McGeorge and Jim.
Yeah, we got your presidents mixed up. Listen,
good move or bad?
Listen, I thought this was ego, control, selfish. He quit on his team. And I agree with Rich. I think he did it. I mean, everybody's known that Tony Bennett has hated NIL, has hated the portal for, this has been going on for 3 years.
Right.
I mean, he could have stepped out. Was that the reason for his miserable season last year? I mean, he should have stopped if he, thought about it. He should have quit after last year, resigned. And as you say, Rich, he wouldn't have been in a position at that point. They probably would have put out a search. He's not big buddies with the AD, whose name is Carla Williams, the AD at Virginia. She was going to probably do a search, and there would be plenty of candidates for the Virginia job. But as you say, if he'd have done this last month, when I say quit on his players, all these players that he brought in from the portal, they're stuck now. Yeah. They can't go anywhere else because they're already in school. If he'd done this a month earlier, they would have been able to scatter the wins, which they would have. But so I thought this was, I've known Tony a long time. This really surprised me. I mean, this is a bad note he's going out on. By the way, there was an internet rumor going around just today that Ed Cooley, the coach at Georgetown, is in Charlotte. Did you read this? He is in Charlottesville this week. They say he was in Charlotte this week talking about becoming the head coach of Virginia, like now. I mean,
Wow.
what a mess. That can't be happening,
I
can
don't.
it? That
I don't think of that. I don't think he would do that. I don't. I
but
don't think.
for Tony Bennett to wait this long to do it, I mean, would Bobby really have done that at Charleston, and his kids would have been? I mean, of
Well, I
course they
just think
wouldn't.
he thought he should have waited a little bit longer because then his assistant would have gotten the job. Curry, the other thing is waiting this long. Number one, he believes that his assistant will get the job. Also, he wants his assistant to have the best team available. If he does it earlier, like you say, all those guys leave. This way, the
Would
guys
be gone.
can't leave,
Yeah.
and his assistant gets the job.
Well,
So
his name's Ron Sanchez. But Rich, if I'm a player,
I'd be
what do
upset.
what do I think of Tony Bennett doing this?
Yeah.
If I'm a
I'd be
Virginia
upset.
player,
I'd be very upset.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
And
and if you're the school, I mean, isn't his first loyalty to the university?
Of course.
And
yeah,
he's certainly left the university in a bad spot. Could have been even worse if he'd maybe done it a month ago, because then, like you said, the players would leave. But what was Curry? What was the name of the athletic director at Virginia? Williams.
Carla Williams.
Yeah. Well, her brother Monty used to coach the Detroit Pistons.
Oh, right,
And is
yeah.
now going to be coaching a high school in San Antonio for $65 million a year. The Pistons are paying
No. Are you serious?
They're not brother and sister. But
No,
yes,
but
Monty,
65 million.
Well,
that's how much
Detroit's
the
going to pay him.
Pistons still owe him when they fired him.
Yes.
It's over a few years, but he's going to get paid $65 million to coach high school kids, of which his is one. The coach they fired at this high school in San Antonio, this is how seriously they take it in Texas. The coach they fired was Bruce Bowen, played for the Spurs. His kid is also on that team, as is one of Tim Duncan's kids.
Wow.
So this is a team that's loaded, and now they have an NBA coach making, who doesn't have to get paid by the high school because he's making $65 million a year from the Pistons, or not a year, but over years. I just thought that was.
Yeah, that's amazing. To go back to Bennett for a second, his dad Dick did the same thing.
Right.
Long time ago.
Bennett, yeah.
He resigned from Wisconsin 3 games into the season and 7 months after he took Wisconsin to the Final Four. Dick Bennett, he did the same thing. So, and they made comparisons with Tony Bennett doing this to Dean Smith leaving, and but that was not the same at all. There was no NIL. There was no. So I want to put that to rest. But it's just it's a bad look for Tony, I think.
It is, but it's more and more it's happening. Think of all the veteran coaches who have stepped down. Jay Wright, Roy Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, Saban. They can say all these guys, all these veteran coaches, and the young coaches are staying around. You know why? Even though they don't like it, because they're getting paid big bucks. Those guys are getting paid millions of dollars, so they're hanging out. But the veteran coaches, they're out. They're out. They're tired of it.
If you have a legacy, you're going to protect it and get out. And if you don't yet, you're probably going to keep the money. NBA debuting tonight. Rich is missing part of the Celtics next game to tip off the season. That's how committed you are to this show.
Well, the Celtics is already up 19 at halftime, I think.
Oh, okay.
So by the way, since we're doing this on Father-Son night in Los Angeles, I thought about bringing my daughter to the podcast so we could have a father-daughter podcast in honor of the Father-Son Lakers game tonight.
Bring Chelsea, for sure.
Rich, I know you're excited about LeBron and Bronny playing together for 25 seconds. And, they invited the Griffies, right? So they have to play.
They're there.
Can you imagine if the Griffies came and they didn't play? Bronny didn't get in the game.
It's a circus. Bronny there's no way should be on the team. It's a circus.
Here we go. Calm down.
He doesn't have the ability to be on an NBA team. Come on now. There's no way. And they'll play it just because it's a circus in LA. They got a coach who's
play. Rich, over and under, how many weeks is he with the Lakers before he goes to the G League?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah, that's good. Okay.
Whole season.
Might be 2 days.
Whole season.
No.
I cut him just before the playoffs.
You think?
Whole season.
Well, they have 3 or 4 Lakers right now who are hurt. So that might be one of the reasons why he's
out. all the excitement now we've got to wait for is for LeBron's second son to come play. When is he going to come play?
I don't even want to see that. I don't want to get
One
sick.
bit of credit to LeBron, and I will generally stick up for LeBron. This is his 22nd season.
Yeah, it's
That's
amazing.
pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
To play at his level.
Oh, I
for
know. It's
22
amazing.
years.
He's a freak. He's a freak. It's a freak.
He
It's
is
like Brady. It's like Brady.
amazing.
It's still
That
a
really
freak.
is.
Yeah.
But you know, he here he goes again when the WA final. He comes out and gives his opinion about the official's call. Like what, LeBron? Why do we have to get your opinion on the official's call?
That's right. He
What is
did
that?
WNBA. He came
Hey,
out,
did you
WNBA.
also see the new thing the NBA is initiating this year? They're doing it online. It's part of the stats, though. They are now doing something called a dunk score.
What's that?
They're evaluating the quality of every dunk in the NBA, and you know, the more degree of difficulty and the more you posterize a person or whatever, you know, the better your score will be on a dunk score. Like you needed another gimmick.
That's ridiculous. That's
I love it. All these speculators asking this week, they're giving their prediction of what's going to happen in the NBA season, who's going to win, and who's different division. We're talking 7 months from now. It's 7 months away. I cannot get interested in this. I'm sorry.
All right. So I guess that means you're not going to pick one.
No.
Oh, okay.
I
We
am
have had 6 different champions in the last 6 years. Anybody got a final person to throw under the bus?
No, I don't think so.
I think we've done a pretty good job. I think
Yeah.
beat up the world pretty well. All right, we'll be back next week. We got plenty more to talk about. We haven't even gotten into some stuff about the quarterbacks that'll be available next year in the NFL draft, or Scotty Scheffler's Masters menu. We'll have to talk about that soon as we talk about and throw people under the bus. Our thanks to Justin Jarrett and for putting this all together, and our thanks, of course, to Hudson's on the Docks. Go to hudsonsonthedocks.com to find out more about a terrific restaurant on Hilton Head Island. For Curry and Rich, I'm Bob. Thanks so much for joining us. Under the
guys. Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Under the Bus is a production of the Loco Media Network and is filmed on the Hilton Head Island campus of the University of South Carolina, Beaufort. The executive producer is Justin Jarrett, with assistance from Trey Ramsey, Mahogany Hickman, and Adam Carroll.